In 2016, the United States was divided between two political parties, both willing to fight and forget longtime friends and family members who were not willing to stand on their side. The country was united within their parties, but high tensions were held between Democrats and Republicans. During this turbulent time, many Americans feared sharing their opinions on the matter in fear of backlash and cutting ties of important relationships. However, Justin Peck, a New York City ballet soloist and resident choreographer, saw this as an opportunity to reflect on our society's imbalance of harmony and create a piece that would encourage solidarity in our country. Justin Peck began choreographing his piece, The Times Are Racing, before the 2016 presidential election while tensions were building in America. However, his piece took a swift turn after November 8th when a new president was officially elected into power. Being that this presidential election was such a close race, it left many Americans feeling defeated and scared for what may take place under the United States' new leadership. Justin Peck, although outwardly a Democratic supporter, was not going to let this deter him. Rather, he let this moment in history help define his piece and further strengthen his message that we need to work as a united front no matter our political preference. Justin wanted to remind our country of how we're living in a constant state of change and how we as Americans have the power to create development in our own country despite our leadership. While The Times Are Racing is only a mere 24 minutes, it completely encapsulates our societal struggles as well encouraging humility and consciousness of others. Being that Justin choreographed this piece during a dark time, he could have very easily pulled inspiration from the struggles and fears of many Americans. However, he chose to make his work based on more escapism and to remind the audience for 24 minutes how we can make positive outcomes out of such a dark and uncertain time. The overall impression of this piece is that a collective group of people have the power to band together and create change in the world. These themes are tied together choreographically through explosive movement to reflect the millennials exercising their right to protest, an abundance of lifting and counterbalance, reminding the audience that we constantly need to help one another, and moments of pause and reflection, which are included to show how we must appreciate our own personal relationships and value what moments we have together despite our differences. I would now like to encourage you to go and watch the video link that I have provided so you can get a short glimpse of what one of the major group sections looks like towards the end of The Times Are Racing. Whilst this was a short preview of his piece, you can already begin to get a feel for the energetic choreography as well as the contrast to having focus on individual couples, such as the main couple that was in the front. Throughout the rest of Times Are Racing, with a cast of 20 dancers, Peck cleverly sections off his piece with smaller and more intimate groups to show how human connection is valued at any amount and how even if it's just you and one other person, you can still be a driving force to create change in the world. Yet, even though all these choreographic aspects clearly depict Peck's stance on the matter, he cleverly costumes his dancers to help set the scene. All the dancers are dressed in urban street clothes such as brightly colored bomber jackets, jean shorts, and white tennis shoes. Some of the dancers have particularly interesting shirts as some of them are adorned in words such as defy, shout, unite, and change. Although this is low on the hierarchy of clues as to what this piece is about, it is one part of a grand artistic statement that inspires the audience to reflect back on themselves as to how they can do their part to make a positive outcome in such a dark situation. While Peck's original intent with this piece was to tackle the topic of creating a sense of community and to inspire people to fight for what they believe to be right, he brings another important sensitive topic to the table. Nearly a year and a half after the creation of The Times Are Racing, Justin Peck took to his Instagram to announce that he wanted to further explore his piece and its relationship with gender neutrality. It is very common in ballet for men and women to be assigned to their typical designated roles. Men are expected to lift, turn, and jump, while being powerful and masculine. Women, on the other hand, are expected to master intricate point work while looking effortless and sometimes ethereal. However, Justin decided to keep up with the times and change the casting by having a woman perform the man's leading role, and he changed the heteronormative pas de deux to be danced by two males. Justin Peck spoke with the New York Times about his perspective on how much power choreographers have on change in the dance field. The future of ballet is really in the hands of its creators, Mr. Peck said. So if it's something that interests them to push the envelope with gender roles, then I think it will change. But if that's not of the interest of the dance maker, if it's of the interest to sort of preserve the way things have been or have been done for the past 200 years, then nothing is going to change. What is so inspiring is that Justin makes it very clear as to which side of the line he stands on with his gender neutrality roles, not only through his words, but also through his actions. While many people can say they support gender neutrality, Justin Peck has put his money where his mouth is and has said it loud and proud on the Lincoln Center stage. While reading a plethora of articles and watching short clips of his piece posted to the New York City Ballet YouTube page may be enough to get his message across, nothing will make you fully feel the impact of it like seeing it in person. I was fortunate enough to see this piece performed by the New York City Ballet in the spring of 2018, and there truly aren't enough words in the English language to help convey the power I felt after watching The Times Are Racing. I've never been one to become emotionally attached to a piece to the point of showing my emotions. However, I could barely contain myself to not start applauding before the piece had even finished. There's something about the perfect combination of Peck's dynamic choreography and Dan Deacon's electronic score that leaves the audience ready to conquer the world. Justin Peck's The Times Are Racing is the perfect example of someone using dance to employ change in the world.